Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 237, and I'm Lisa, your host, also known as Fiber Nymph on Ravelry and Instagram. Today's Wednesday, April 5th, and it is spring allergy season here. I just have to let you know, I'm going to try to keep the sniffling and the sneezing to a minimum on here, but as of yesterday morning, I woke up and I knew what was happening. It's going to be one of those allergy years, apparently, so please bear with me. My eyes are so watery and scratchy right now. It's horrible. I would love to take my contacts out, but then I couldn't see, and I hate wearing my glasses on the podcast. So we're going to hopefully make this work. I just want to say hello to everybody. I am sorry I did not have a chance to go check the welcome thread to see if anybody new has introduced themselves since last week, or since the last regular podcast. The last podcast last week was just a shop preview podcast. So this is since the last regular podcast. I will do that for the next regular episode, but just know that I'm so glad that you're here. If you're a new viewer or an old viewer, thank you for coming and spending some time with me today. Let's see, what else? I think that's probably everything that I need to tell you. I will say I don't have a lot of knitting content this week, only because my arms, my hands and arms, sustained some repetitive, repetitive motion injury, I guess is what you would call it, or excessive use injury maybe. This is totally unknitting related, actually. If you've been watching for a while, you've heard me talking about the work that we're doing up at the mountain house, and we're getting the site prepared for this 12 by 28 shed / garage thing that we ordered that's coming in as storage space for all the stuff that's on the porch, because the porch is going to be what's transformed into a room that will be my studio. So this is Operation Studio related stuff. Anyway, 2 weekends ago, I spent a lot of hours operating a reciprocating saw and using an axe and a digging bar and many other implements of destruction, trying to remove a segment of tree root, probably about 18 inches long, but it was a big tree root, like really big, and had branchy things coming off of it and had stones embedded in it, but it was right where we needed to put a footer for this retaining wall that we had to put in for this pad, this site that we have prepared for the building. It was not an option to not have this segment of wall. We modified the design as it was, but that had to come out, and my husband had worked on it for a while, and finally he's like, okay, you work on that, I'll do other stuff. And I was fine with that, because for me it was kind of like a puzzle, like how can I get this out of there? But I really did just have to keep working at it for several hours, and I'm fine with doing that kind of stuff, but using those tools, especially that reciprocating saw, it just vibrates so much, and it's heavy. And then swinging the axe really aggravated my wrists. You don't realize as you're using it, but it, like, that impact just really you sustain that in your wrists. And so after doing that day, the next day I could not hold things. My arms were falling asleep even just laying in bed at night, and I tried knitting the next morning, and like I could knit for like 2 minutes and my hands were just numb and tingly, and that was pretty much how it was for the whole following week. By the end of that week, I was starting to feel a little bit better, but I still I didn't want to press my luck and knit too much, because I know that I've already spent like long periods of time knitting, you know, and that can cause me undue stress on my hands. So I was just trying to be careful. Then last weekend, we were not digging roots this time, but we were shoveling a lot of gravel. Between us, we literally shoveled and carried and moved over 6 tons of gravel into the site to start making the surface. We still have 1 more day to go of doing that, to put the second layer of the surface down, which hopefully will not be quite as much gravel, but the shoveling of the gravel did not aggravate my hands and my arms the way the axe and the saw had, but it was pretty heavy duty work. My lower back and my knees felt it after that. I did get thumb cramps from just the way I was holding my shovel. I don't know. Anyway, suffice it to say, the past 2 weekends have been a lot of extreme manual labor, and as a result of how my body has felt, I just haven't really been doing a whole lot of knitting. Spinning did not bother my hands at all, so I did actually do a lot more spinning than I usually have. And I also spent time doing some like knitting related stuff, but non-actual crafting knitting, like reading things like magazines and articles and researching patterns and organizing some of my yarn. Not that you can really tell that from what you see behind me, but you know, I've done a lot of non-crafting related stuff. So it's not like the time was wasted. It was just spent very differently than it ordinarily would have been. So suffice it to say, I have a little bit lighter knitting content, but hopefully it'll still be exciting. And I do have a lot of other things to talk about. We've got a lot of prizes to award today for the A Year in the Life of a Knitter knit along. I have the March prizes. I have the March Challenge prize winner, and I have the Winter Quarter winner to announce. So that's a lot of prizes. And then in the shop segment, which I am going to do at the end of this podcast today, it won't be separate this time, I have the first quarter 5-minute dye works finished object drawing winner. So lots of winners to announce today. So that's kind of fun. I've got some new stuff. I've got a lot of new stuff to show you. See, if you can't actually knit, you can still buy things, apparently. Yeah, so there's a lot of things to tell you about. So let's get started. Coffee. Okay, the 2 items that I did knit on in the past week and a half since I saw you last, or you saw me last, I guess, are 2 hats, neither of which you have seen before. So, the first one is the Busta Beanie, which I talked about. It's the Gudrun Johnson pattern. Gudrun Johnson is going to be the patron for Shetland Wool Week this year. She is the patron for Shetland Wool Week this year, and she designed the pattern. In the past years, it's been the bobble hat and the Croftus hat and stuff like that. This year, it's the Busta Beanie, and I'm trying to see if I've got a good picture of it in here. I don't have the picture actually printed out, but here's 3 tiny pictures of it. It's just a really fun little color work beanie. There you go, in 3 different colorways. My original plan for this was to use the Jamieson and Smith, the leftovers Jamieson and Smith that I have of the natural colors that I had left from my sheephead hat. I was going to use one of those as the main color, and then I had bought some other colors that I've shown you. I was going to use those for the color work. Well, as it turned out, I've got a lot of the natural colors left, but I don't have a lot of any one natural color left, at least not enough to do the main color of the hat. So I had to come up with a plan B. My plan B ended up being this for the main color, which this is a skein of blacker yarn, the Tamar. Excuse me. Tamar is, it comes in both fingering and DK weight. This is the fingering weight. I don't have the label here. Let me see if I can look it up real quick to tell you its content. Okay. Tamar 4-ply by Blacker Yarns. It is fingering weight 30% wool, 18% Teeswater, 18% Wensleydale, 17% Leicester long wool, and 17% Cotswold. So those are all a lot of British yarns. It's a really nice yarn. It's a little toothy, but not excessively. Like, I would not have a problem wearing this close to my skin. I mean, I'm using it for a hat, so it's not a big deal. But anyway, this is what I pulled out of my stash to do the background color with. What I really should have done, because I've got like 4 or 5 other colors of Tamar. In hindsight, I probably just should have chosen 2 of those to do my color work with also, because it would have been very even that way. As it is, I chose these 2 yarns, which are also fingering weight. They are from Upton Yarns, and these are a Cotswold Romney Cross fingering weight. I'm reading it on here. It's a light fingering though. And it is definitely lighter than the Tamar. I mean, you can see that. And I knew that going in that it was going to be lighter, but I've had this in my stash for a while. I have a third color too, that I just really, I wanted to use it. Upton Yarns, I believe, is from, are they from Maine? Let me see. They're from New England. Oh yeah, Newcastle, Maine. Anyway, I purchased these after hearing Sarah from Fiber Trek talk about Upton Yarns. So I bought these well over a year ago. So they've been in my stash, and I just really like the colors together, and I like them with this. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a try, even though I know the weights are different, and I didn't know how that would play out. As I'm knitting the hat, it's definitely making the color work not stand out as well as I would like it. And that, you know, there's always the whole color dominance issue with color work, which I have issues with sometimes anyway, but I don't feel like that's the issue. This is just, it's just how this yarn is very different. Now you can still see it, and obviously once this is soaked and blocked, it'll be a little more even, and I think you'll be able to see it better. You can see the colors. The design is not standing out so much though. It seems to be getting a little bit lost in there. Although, you know what, looking at it in the screen, it's not as lost as it is when I'm looking at it right here in person. So I don't know. My hope is that whenever I do soak this yarn, that maybe those Upton yarns will poof up a little bit. Of course, the Tamar is likely to also poof up a little bit, so you don't know. I don't care. I want this hat because I've been wearing a lot of hats lately, and I'm fine with having this hat, even if it's not perfect color work. I have the hunch that I will probably be making more than one of these Busta beanies, and in that case, I probably will use either, you know, the Tamar in multiple colors, or I may try to mix the Tamar with the Jameson and Smith. I just couldn't come up with a good color combination that I really liked for that, because I really did want to use sort of a neutrally color for the main color. This is green, so it's not super neutral, but it's neutral enough in my brain. I don't know. So that's my my progress so far on my Busta beanie. Again, just haven't been working on it a whole lot since I did my hand thing. I will say though, I've modified the pattern in that I went down needle sizes. I think it called for using, what did it call for using? Again, let me look it up. It called for using US 2.5s and 4s, so 3mm and 3.5mm. I went down to US 1s, which is a 2.25mm, and using US 3, which is a 3.25mm for the body of the hat. So I think that was definitely a good choice, especially considering how lightweight the Upton yarns are. So it's fine. I'm happy with it. I love the colors. I love the hat. It's a very intuitive pattern, like the color work chart. Once you do it once, you know what you're doing. At least I do. So I'm really not even referring to the charts anymore. And like I said, I'll probably make another one at some point. So that is my Busta beanie. The other hat that I cast on was just sort of on a whim, actually. Oops, I just dropped a needle. And I'm using this. Does this look familiar? It should. Oh, sorry, my eye's watering. This is some leftover Cascade 220 Heathers in the Aspen colorway, which, yes, I used for my antler cardigan. I was, like I said, I've been cleaning up and kind of organizing things in here, and I've been pushing around this box that has a whole bunch of leftover balls of, oh gosh, I'm not crying, honest. A whole bunch of leftover balls of this yarn, and this was the largest one. I mean, it's smaller now because I've knit part of a hat with it, but I picked it up and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to use it. Instead of keep pushing it around, I'm just going to use it. And so I'm using it. I decided to cast on a hat. I didn't really have a design. I didn't want to just do a plain hat. I was kind of bored with that. And I actually have a hat that I designed a while back, like a couple years ago, that I thought, well, maybe I could make another one of those, but I really wasn't in the mood to do that either. And so I decided I would kind of just wing it with the antler chart. There is actually an antler beanie or antler toque, it might be called, I'm not sure, which I have made before, but I didn't want to do the cabling the whole way around it. I just wanted one motif. So what I ended up doing was, I think I cast on 80 stitches, and I worked a section of stockinette, and then I did the antler. It's actually the chart from the hat, which is a free pattern, by the way, by Tin Can Knits. So I did the 16 stitch antler chart there, and then as I went around, I did another section of stockinette, and then I did a section of reverse stockinette, and then ended with reverse stockinette. So it'll have 3 segments basically calling with design. One will be the cable from the antler cardigan, antler hat, and 2 just reverse stockinette sections. I just thought it would be kind of cool. I don't know. It'll be a warm hat, again, that I can wear, and it'll sort of match my antler cardigan if I feel the need to have a matching hat on. And it's using up some of my leftovers, and that's really what I was aiming for anyway. I did a US 5. I used a US 5 for the ribbing, just 2x2 ribbing, and I'm using a US, I believe a 7, maybe it's a 6. It's a 4.5 millimeter. What's that? That's a 7 for the body of the hat. So that is that. And that's it. That's all I've knit on. Again, just trying to give my hands a rest and not overtax them. Like I said, I have been spinning. I did start spinning the Tempted fiber, the merino, on my traveler up at the mountain house. I will put a picture of what I've done so far in here. That is the prize fiber that was won by one of our knit-along winners back in February. She asked me to spin it for her, so I am working on it. And I'll tell you what, I've said I don't really enjoy spinning merino. It's been a very long time since I've spun merino, though, and I am loving this merino. It is beautiful. It drafts like crazy cakes, wonderful, and it spins up very, very fine. So it's taking a long time. I'm still not through the first half of the fiber yet. I'm close. I should hopefully be able to finish up the first half of it this weekend, I'm hoping. But yeah, it's a lovely fiber, and the colors are stunning. So I'm basically fractal spinning it. You know, I divided it in half long ways, and the one half is not, the half that I'll spin beginning to end, I haven't done yet. The other one I'm splitting, but instead of just splitting into 3 or 4 segments, I'm splitting it into very thin strips. So, because I find it drafts better that way. So that'll be the one half, then the other half will be, you know, just spun straight, and it should be a really pretty barber pole effect when it's done. I should get a lot of yardage out of this, and it's funny because, you know, it's been in my stash for a long time, and then I decided to offer it up as a prize. Now that I'm spinning, I'm like, this is really pretty. Kind of wish I was keeping it, but I'm giving it away as I plan to because that's the right thing to do. Anyway, I did do that, and I also, I showed you that I had 3 more bobbins of my blue BFL from Briar Rose. I did ply those on my sidekick here at the house, and again, it turned out really nice. I did not compare it to the first skein that I got. I got a little bit more yardage out of this one, but still, 2 of the bobbins have quite a bit of fiber left, or singles left on them, and the third one finished, you know, ended. So I don't know what I'm doing that I'm getting such varying amounts on these bobbins, but whatever, it's plying up very nicely. I got a little bit over 300 yards for this one. So, and I think the other one was maybe 280 or something. So it's consistent anyway. Yeah, I love it. It's a very pretty color. I can't wait to have it done, and I can make, I want to make like a a sweater, like a sweater. I actually want to make a sweater out of this when I'm done. So it'll be my first, no, it will not be my, I was going to say it's going to be my first hand spun sweater. I have made a hand spun sweater before. But it was a sleeveless kind of sweater. But yeah, hand spun sweater for the win. That'll be awesome. Okay, so that was all of the spinning. I did do a little bit of swatching this week too, though, because swatching doesn't take a whole lot of energy. If you remember, and this is kind of going to overlap with new things. If you remember, I talked about my latest order that I had placed with the woolly thistle, and it was for a lot of Lopi. And so, oh, sorry, got to stretch. The one Lopi that I ordered was the Ploto Lopi, which this is how it comes. It comes in these plates, which is what Ploto, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that's what it means, plate. It's a plate of Lopi. I am pulling from the outside. You can pull from the inside, I guess, but because this is very much, it's an unspun single, okay? So, like, it's very easy to just pull apart. I mean, a lot of people think that, you know, the Jared Flood yarn, no, is it Brooklyn Tweed? I can't remember what it's called. Jared Flood's yarn. I know a lot of people complain about that being super easy to break. That's nothing compared to this. So when it came in, I decided I wanted to swatch with it. I'm not ready to knit with it yet, but I wanted to swatch with it just to see how it knits up, because I was really concerned that, like, my tension even, and the way I knit, because I knit continental and I wrap it around my hand twice, that was going to cause it to break as I knit. And it didn't. I mean, I purposely kept the tension loose on my hand, and I purposely knit at a slightly lighter tension than I normally would have. So here is my swatch. I did not soak it yet. I believe I knit this on a US 6. You can see how open the fiber is. It's a very, very open fabric. But considering the fiber that this is, because it's Icelandic wool, it's going to be very warm, even open. I don't know that I would want to make it any tighter than this. I don't know. But it is extremely sturdy. Once it's knit, I mean, you can pull this any which way, and it is not going to tear. I mean, maybe if you stabbed it with scissors or something, but you stab anything with scissors, it's probably going to break. So yeah, it's just amazing because those fibers are just so loose in the unspun single, but once they're knit up, they are extremely sturdy from just being interlocked with each other. So it's very interesting. I cannot wait to make something with it. I don't know what I'm going to make with it quite yet, which sweater, but these are the colors I got. I don't remember the actual names of them, but this orangey rusty one is the one that I bought to use as my main color for the sweater, and then I bought these two to do color work with. I think it'll be a fun combination. The orange and purple are different. You don't usually see those together, I don't think, but I think they'll look really neat together. It looks like a very kind of fallish, Halloweenish combination, so maybe that's what it'll end up being. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to using this at some point. It's a very different type of yarn. And the other yarn I got in was the rest of the Let Lopi, which I had shown you. Well, you can't really see it. The basket is right there that has those 6 skeins of different colors that I purchased and I had swatched, which I showed you last time. I ordered enough of this pretty gray to use as the main color for a sweater. I think this is, let's see, does it say, it just says shade 58. I don't know. It's like a medium gray, basically. It's a charcoaly gray. Very pretty. And then I ordered, I think I may have already had one of these. I ordered another one, and then I ordered a skein of this pretty, like, sea blue, I don't know, Mediterranean blue. I don't know what blue it is, but it's a pretty blue. It's a light blue. So those will be used in a colorwork sweater as well. I just don't know what or when. Again, I have not cast on sweaters. I know last time I talked about the fact I'm just going to cast sweaters on. I don't care. I haven't done that yet, mostly because of, again, my hand issue. And also because I just didn't I haven't made my decisions yet as to what sweaters I want to do. And I feel like there's no rush. I can just do it when I feel like it and when I'm ready and when it feels right. And then I will start casting my sweaters on willy-nilly, or maybe not so willy-nilly. We'll just see. It's just kind of whatever works at the moment. Okay, so that's not all the new yarn I got. Unbelievably. Yesterday, I actually shopped twice for yarn, and this was in-person shopping, which is also a lot of fun. I don't get to do that quite as often as as I'd like to. It's probably good that I don't. But I went to our local Pat Catan's. I needed a bunch of stuff from up there, and every once in a while I'll go through their yarn department. I don't tend to buy yarn from craft stores because a lot of times it is the less expensive, like acrylic-y, squeaky kind of yarns. But Pat Catan's does carry, you know, some other yarns. Like they carry a lot of Patton's yarns, which are decent yarns. I've bought the Croy up there before, and I buy cotton yarns up there, like for dishcloths and everything. But the last time I was up there, I noticed this they just had this one display of this one type. It was a bulky yarn, and it was 100% acrylic. And I looked at it because the colors were wonderful, and I thought, wow, that's really pretty. And I felt it, and it did not at all feel like that squeaky acrylic. Like I associate acrylic with, like, you know, the acrylics that I used to use back in, like, when I was a kid, that, you know, the squeaky, real plasticky feeling acrylic. But this was super soft and lovely, and I'm like, wow, that would actually maybe make a nice blanket for, like, I want to make an Afghan for my oldest son and his family because I've never gotten to do that yet. But they are not hand washers, so it has to be something that can be machine washed. And for as much as I would need, even to do it out of my own yarns, it would be quite expensive. And they've got dogs, and I don't want to risk having, like, knitting something and then having a dog chew on it or something. So I thought this would maybe be a really good yarn for that. So then I was up there yesterday, and they had an even bigger display, which had this yarn, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but then it had 4 other types of the yarn. It had a worsted weight, I think there was a fingering weight, and I don't know what the third one was. But some of it was 100, it was like a 50-50 wool acrylic blend, but it was not a superwash wool, so I was not going to use that for a blanket. I don't remember, I didn't look too closely at the fingering weight or the other one, but the bulky was there, and I bought a bunch of it. Matter of fact, I bought out everything they had in black, gray, white, and taupe because those are the colors I'm going to use. So here they are, and here's the gray. So these are the colors I'm going to use. I'm going to need more than what I was able to buy because they only had so many. But this is a good start, and I figure this is a commercial yarn, so the colors probably won't vary too much if I go back to buy more. But it is called All Things You Premium Acrylic Yarn. It was $2.99 a ball, which is 100 grams, 109 yards. I cannot make yarn for anywhere close to that inexpensive. So this is definitely a good choice for me for a big blanket like this that I want to be washing proof and animal proof, and I don't care if it gets destroyed proof, you know. Yeah, I don't know. It feels super soft. I did swatch it a little bit. Oh, sorry, that's really loud. US 11 needles I swatched. I'm getting about 2.5 stitches per inch. It makes a very nice fabric. It almost feels as soft as like a chenille kind of yarn would feel. It's not chenille. It's not at all. It's a 2-ply. But it's very soft. I mean, I think it'll be warm and cozy to roll up in. I have no idea what it'll do once it's thrown in a washer. It may totally just pill up first time around. I don't know. But I'm happy with it. I mean, when you feel it, you can tell that it's an acrylic, but it's not an unpleasant acrylic. And I won't say I'm snobby, but there are certain acrylics I just won't go near. So anyway, that was my big purchase up at Pat Catan's. Was like 15 balls of this yarn, I think. So we'll see when I get that started. That will eventually, I would like that to be a Christmas gift for them this year. So we'll see how long it takes for me to work that up. It's not going to take long knitting on those huge needles. I think did I tell you US 11s? That's what I was using. Yeah, that should go pretty fast. So those are all, oh no, they're not all my new things. My other thing was I got to go up to the new local yarn shop that opened at the very beginning of this year called Knitsburg here in Pittsburgh. I hadn't gotten up there yet. They opened, their grand opening was Inauguration Day, interestingly enough. But I couldn't go up there then because we were leaving for Florida the next day. And so I finally got up there, and I had a good reason for going up there because she's placed a yarn order with me. And so I was taking her order up, which was fun. I don't usually get to hand deliver wholesale yarn orders, but that was awesome to be able to do that. But while I was there, of course, I'm looking at the yarn, and she carries Malabrigo, and she has Malabrigo Rios. And if you've been watching the podcast for very long, you know I have a love affair with Rios. It's a wonderful yarn to have on hand to knit up gifts, especially if they're for people who you don't know if they're going to hand wash stuff. It's far too expensive to make an entire blanket out of for somebody. Like, you know, I'm not going to use it for a blanket, but for a hat or mittens or things like that, it's perfect. And these are the colors I got. I had not seen these Malabrigo colors before, and they are amazing. This one is called Glitter, and this one is called Sunset. And they just go together so perfectly. I have never had either of these in my stash before. They're very autumnal, aren't they? Won't they make they're going to be something for me for this fall, I think. I just don't know what yet. But they're amazing. I love them muchly. So anyway, I grabbed those. And the other thing I got was these. Have you seen these? They're called yarn snips. I don't know. Let's see if I can. They come in this cool cardboard tube with a lid. They're by Coco Knits, and they are forged steel yarn snips. Yvonne from Knitsburg told me you can't take these on planes. And I was showing Bill this morning, and he's like, they're like little mini sheep shearers. And they are kind of like the hand shears. But they're very sharp. They're very, very pointy, also dangerously pointy. Like if you stab this with this, it's definitely going to create a hole. But I've been playing around snipping stuff, and they're very sharp. So I don't know. And I would think because they're rubbing against each other so tightly like that, they probably have a self-sharpening element to them as well. But I think you would definitely want to keep them in their little cardboard tube, though, so they did not poke into anything like your project bag or your project or your hand. So yeah. So those are my new things. That's like a lot of new things. I don't usually have so many new things, but today I did. Okay, so that takes care of both my swatching and my new things that I was going to talk to you about. Let's move on. I have the Year in the Life prizes that I'm going to award in a minute, but I wanted to tell you about a new drawing we're going to have in the 90% knitting group, and it's a pattern called Bamboo Jungle Socks, which is a worsted weight sock pattern by Lisa Griffiths, who is Army Gal 97 on Ravelry. She's a member of our group, and she just designed this pattern. I believe it's her first pattern that she's designed too, so that's very exciting, or at least the first one that's been published. And so this is her sock pattern, Bamboo Jungle, and the picture shows a variety of socks in different sizes. The sizing goes anywhere from baby through toddler, child, small, medium, and large. So it's got a lovely, range there. And again, it is worsted weight. So she gifted me the pattern, and she very graciously offered one up for you guys as well for a drawing. So I am going to open a thread in the 90% knitting group, and I'll put up a prompt. So if you would like to win a copy of this pattern, please feel free to enter, and I will do the drawing on the next regular podcast. It's a really cool pattern. The front of it is a cool textured pattern, but the back is just stockinette. So I think it's fun. I'm trying to see, is there another picture in here that I can show you? Oh, this is a cute little picture. Look at the itty bitty little baby sock. Like there, look at it. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, I love it. So anyway, thank you so much, Lisa, for donating this for a drawing. Again, if you would like to be entered in the drawing for this pattern, please reply to the prompt in the thread, and I will do the drawing next time. So yay for that. Okay, let's now move on to the knit along. I'm going to do the prizes first before I talk about the current quarter. First, I'm going to award the March prizes. This is from the chatter thread. We ended up with 174 eligible posts for the month of March, which I'm offering 1 prize for every 50 posts. So that made 3 prizes, which means I have 4 prizes to offer, and you can pick. If you're one of the winners, please PM me on Ravelry and give me your first, second, third, and fourth choice of prize, and in the order that you would like them, obviously, and whichever one is highest that is still available by the time I hear from you, that is the one that you will get. So let me just show you, because the last time I think I only had 2 to show you, since that was the number that we had available at that time. The first one is a skein of my Traveler Sport Weight base. This is in the Celtic Jewels self-striping colorway. So that's one of them. April is the yarn focus is sport weight too, so you could use this if you win it. The second offering for the prize is, again, fiber. And again, if you are not a spinner, but you like these colors and you'd like me to spin it for you, I'll be happy to. This is 100% Polwarth fiber in the Emergence colorway. It's a 5-ounce braid, so it's got lots of pretty greens and yellows and grays. This was inspired by this time of year when everything's just starting to turn green and, you know, blossom and everything. I love that sheen of green that just starts to come out as the month of April progresses, and that's what inspired this, that yellowy green. Okay, so that's the first 2. The third prize option is, again, this is the one that was not chosen last month, so I'm putting it back in the rotation. This is the Loopy U Drawstring Project Bag with the cute little sheep and a Loopy U needle gauge and ruler. So that is the third prize. And then the fourth prize to choose from is, this is from my stash. And I dug deep into my stash, into my cottons and silks and stuff, and I pulled these out. These are 2 skeins of Debbie Bliss Pure Silk, which it's 100% pure silk, 125 meters, so that's yardage, probably like 130 some yards. 2 skeins of it, so it would be enough to make a cool, like a lightweight scarf or something. It's so soft and it's just beautiful, and it's in this lovely sort of peachy apricot color. It's sort of blowing out. Oh, here, back here, that's much more accurate. So this is the fourth prize option. So again, if you're one of these winners that I'm going to announce, please PM me, let me know what your prize choices are, and I will get whichever one is highest on your list to you that's still available. If it's the fiber, you're going to have a wait because I'm still spinning the February fiber for the prize, but I'll get it to you as soon as I possibly can. Okay, so the March winners. Random number generator. The first one is from post number 600 in the chatter thread, and that is Manda B, who is Amanda from Texas. So congratulations, Amanda. The second prize winner is post number 532, and that was Skyly Knits, who is another Amanda, Amanda from Michigan. So congratulations, Amanda from Michigan. And the third prize winner is Freeman 5, and that is Colette from Illinois. So congratulations, Colette. So Amanda, and Colette, please PM me with your prize choices when you hear this, and I will get those out to you. Okay, so the March challenge, which was the Go Green challenge, I showed you last, no, wait, I did not. Did I? Oh, crud. Hold on just one second. Okay, I had to go grab them. I didn't, there's stitch markers I'm awarding as the prize this month. Stitch markers that I made, and last time I didn't have them with me. They were up at the mountain house. And this time I have them with me, but they were sitting like over there. I had to find them. So anyway, the winner for the March challenge is going to get a set of handmade stitch markers by me, which includes 8 stitch markers plus a 9th like beginning of round marker. So this is what the beginning of round marker looks like. How are you going to? It will focus eventually. Oh, come on. There we go. It's a little heart with star cutouts in it. Super cute. So I have actually 3 different sets, and if you're the winner, you can choose which one you want. One set has these tealish, greenish blue beads on them. One set has these amber kind of beads on them. Okay. Trying to get the color. There you go. So that light brown ambery color. And the 3rd set has red beads. There we go. So if you're the winner, you can choose whichever color you like for the beads, and that is the set I will send you. The beginning of round marker is the same in all 3 sets. So random number generator again chose, and this is from the March, the Go Green thread specifically. And let me see if I can tell you how many entries we had in that, because I did not write it down. Go Green. There were 53 posts, so the first one was mine, so it was 52 posts. And the winning post for that was post number 23, who was Waipahu, and that is Rhonda from Pennsylvania. So Rhonda, congratulations. Please PM me and let me know which color set of stitch markers you would like, and I'll get those out in the mail to you. And thank you so much for going green with us. And lastly, because it was March and that was the final month in the first quarter of the year, we have the winter quarter winner drawing as well. So that I took also from the chatter thread, but it was all of the posts from January, February, and March. So I showed you part of the prize last time, and it is this really pretty bright bag that was donated by Dennis, and he does bags by he's Bags by Dennis on Instagram, and he donated this as a prize. So the bag is part of the prize, and the other thing I said I was going to dye a skein of yarn that would match that, and so I did that, and here is the yarn. Isn't it pretty? It does match. I love it. So it is a variegated and speckled skein that matches, but as I was doing it, I ended up with leftover dyes. So I also dyed up a sock blank version. So if you are the winner, you can choose either the skein or the sock blank, whichever one you would prefer as your prize. And whichever one doesn't go as a prize, I'll probably either, I don't know, hold for a future prize or just put in the shop as a one-off, something like that. But this is a once-only colorway. Not going to be dyeing it again. Didn't write down a recipe. It's just for the prize winner. So there you have that. Oh, I guess I should announce who the prize winner is, right? The first quarter, the winter quarter prize winner was post number 288, who just coincidentally happens to be Army Gal 97, who is Lisa from Colorado, who I just showed you the pattern that she donated for a drawing as well. So I thought that was kind of funny. But congratulations, Lisa. You're our first quarter winner for the knit along. So please PM me and let me know if you would rather have the yarn or the sock blank, and I will get your bag and yarn out to you. And if you are winning a prize that I have to mail to you, please, which all of these are ones I have to mail to you, please include your full name and your mailing address too, so I can get them out to you. So anyway, thank you. That was so much fun. I love having prize drawings. All right. So the second quarter is now happening. It's the spring quarter, beginning April 1st, and it'll run April, May, and June. Our themes for this quarter are growth, life, and light. So whatever you're making, please have it somehow relate to one of those 3 themes or the general theme of spring. I'm totally leaving that up to your interpretation, however you want to do that. But please somehow have that happen, even if it's just as much as, you know, this is a good springtime garment. That's fine. Our April focus is sport weight yarn, as I said. So get your sport weight going. Now, our April challenge is specifically related to sport weight, and it's specifically related to socks. And as I told you last week, it's called the Shorty and Sporty Challenge. So we are going to be knitting sport weight socks that are shorty socks, which I'm defining that as an adult size sock with no more than 2 inches of cuff. So it has to be 2 inches or less of cuff. It does have to be an adult size sock, and obviously it has to have both socks done to qualify for being a finished object. You can use any pattern you would like, and each finished pair of sport weight shorty socks equals 1 prize drawing. So please post your finished sock pattern or finished socks in separate, pairs of finished socks in separate posts in the challenge thread. If you happen to use Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn, which would be my traveler base for sport weight, then you get an extra drawing. So you can post it twice in 2 separate posts, the same pair of socks. If you do contrasting heels or toes or whatever, both of the yarns need to be my traveler base. If you happen to have one of my really old skeins of sport weight, although those weren't superwash, so I don't know that you would be using those. But if they're mine and it's sport weight, you can use it and qualify, but it has to be short weight, shorty socks. So, okay, that is April. Speaking of socks, I want to thank my volunteers. I got a huge response for volunteers for knitting show sample socks for me. I did get all 5 of those sent out. Everybody else, thank you so much, and I will probably put a future call out for other projects at some point. If you're interested in those, in knitting, please write to me again. I don't keep a running list of people who have volunteered. I just don't have the bandwidth to be able to keep track of that kind of stuff. So just please write to me again if you feel like doing that. One thing I wanted to talk about, which is kind of a new to me thing, but it's not brand new, is a new podcast I've been listening to, and it's an audio podcast, not a video one. It's the Sweet Georgia Show, and I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about it. It's been around for a couple of years. Matter of fact, she just wrapped up her 2nd season recently. Felicia Lowe is the host, and she is the founder and the creative designer, maybe is what her title is, I don't know, of Sweet Georgia Yarns, which is based in Vancouver, Canada. I've heard this podcast talked about in the past, and I thought, oh, I need to check that out. But I didn't used to listen to a lot of audio podcasts. I was more a video podcast person. I have since found that audio podcasts are awesome because they can be downloaded onto my phone, and then I can listen to them as I'm driving back and forth to the mountain house in here. And they don't cost money like Audible books do. So I have been going crazy with audio podcasts. Honestly, I think I have just binged at least 3/4, binge listened to 3/4 of the Sweet Georgia Show podcasts already in a week. Seriously, in a week. It's really interesting because it's a very inspirational podcast to me, not so much in a creative way, although it is that too, but for me it's been very inspirational business-wise. It's kind of been just what I needed, and it's coming at the perfect time considering the fact that my knit income decreased over the past couple of weeks. But also, that my business is sort of in this transition-y phase since, I've had to downsize certain things that Going to doing over the past 6 years. And stay away from those this year just because, we're building the new studio and I'm going to be moving there, and I didn't know how much I would be able to do here versus up there, and, I'm trying to work some up there too. But even though I'm downsizing certain things, I've had to increase other things and trying to come up with new ideas to keep business going because it's still my income. It's my full-time income. I need to pay my bills with it. So from that perspective, it has been super, super inspirational, and I have loved listening to it. She interviews a lot of designers. Some of her earlier ones were not designers. They were other people in the, knitting and fiber industry. But for the most part, her whole 2nd season, I believe, was mostly designers. And she doesn't just talk to them about their designs, though. She talks to them about, how they run their businesses and just different like organizational skills and things that they utilize and tools. Being self-employed, because that's what we are, like indie dyers and indie designers and, you know, anybody who's working in this field specifically, most of us are independent. We're self-employed. I mean, unless you are employed by a yarn company or a design company or, you know, a magazine or something like that. We're self-employed, and there are a lot of special challenges that come along with the joy of being self-employed. And so from that aspect, it's just been a great boost for me to listen to that. I've been taking notes, which is kind of tricky while you're driving, to take notes about things that I wanted to look up and, you know, follow up on and everything, but it's been wonderful. And I've gotten so much, so many parts of my business just in the last week organized. It's been great. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. And even if you're not a business person, you are a knitter, I think you would find the interviews with the designers really interesting. I have. So I'll put that out there. It's the Sweet Georgia Show. Again, she's on a hiatus right now because she just finished her second season and she's got other stuff going on. I don't know when she'll start her third season, but I think you can get on a mailing list or something and be alerted to that. Okay, so otherwise, let's move into 10%, which I don't really have anything additional to tell you about 10% because it's mostly been working up at the Mountain House on the building site for the past 2 weekends. We did go to a folk music concert last weekend. David Lindley, he was an interesting artist. You might want to YouTube a song called Tiki Torches at Twilight. It's a little gross at parts, but it's funny. So anyway, we saw that. But otherwise, yeah, it's just been sort of a lot of work. I need to start scheduling in some downtime, but I'm going to have to do it during the week because weekends I'm put to work. So anyway, okay, let's move on to shop news. First off, I do have the first quarter Fiber Nymph Dye Works finished object drawing a winner to announce, and the prize for that is always a $25 gift certificate to my shop. And this time, let's see, I'm going to get there because I did not write down. There were 47 posts of 46 entries of finished objects made with either Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn or fiber. And random number generator chose post number 32, who is Deb from Canada. And she had knit a pair of socks out of my Love Bug yarn colorway. That made no sense. My Love Bug colorway. So Deb, congratulations. When you hear this, please PM me. Your Ravelry name is Knitting Libra, by the way. I guess I should have said that first so that it can define you, because Deb's sort of a common name. But if you are Knitting Libra, Deb, who knit Love Bug socks, you are the winner of the gift certificate. So please PM me and I will get your gift certificate to you. The second quarter thread is now up in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group, so start posting your finished objects in there, and you'll be entered for the next quarter's drawing. Okay, there is a shop update coming up on Friday, April 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I am very excited about this one. It's sort of an odd update because there's not a lot going into it, but the primary thing going into it, kind of the showcase item, is my anniversary colorway. I'm putting it up as pre-orders only. So let me show you the colorway first. Sorry, I have to reach. So I was going to do it just as a self-striping first. So here's the self-striping version. I'm not telling you the colorway name because I have not chosen the colorway name. I have a few different ideas, but it is the 6th anniversary colorway because my business has now celebrated its 6th anniversary and we're now in our 7th year. So this is the self-striping version. It is a 6-stripe repeat incorporating 4 different colors, and I will put a picture of the striping pattern in here since I have not had a chance to knit a sample of it yet. Okay, so that is what it will look like when it's knit up. This is on the bounce base. I will go ahead and I will offer it on other bases as well. Again, it's all pre-order, so I will definitely offer it in bedazzled, and I will definitely offer it in probably worsted weight. I'm not sure if I'll put other weights in there, other bases as well. That's yet to be determined, but you'll at least have those options. So then I decided, you know what? It would be fun to offer this not only as a self-striping, but as a variegated and speckled. And so I did up a version of that. And here's what that looks like. And these colors, I just love how they play together. So you've got this magenta, and you've got a very bright lime, kind of an electric lime going on there. And then you've got this really bright tropical blue, and this light taupey sand color, which is quickly becoming one of my really favorite semi-solid colors. So it is dyed as a variegated and speckled. So you've got speckles, and the speckles are all complementary, the same colors as in the yarn, just more concentrated, deeper. So you'll have the option between self-striping or variegated and speckled. And then I thought, you know what? I wonder what it would look like on fiber. So I'm going to make some pre-orders available on fiber too. This was some BFL that I had here, and I randomly did the colors. I'm going to leave some of it so that it's undyed, so it'll spin up to be a really pretty light colorway for you, because obviously whenever you spin, the colors do mute a little bit, but I love how it turned out. So anyway, there will be fiber options for it as well. I figure if you're celebrating 6 years, you might as well do it big and make a lot of options for people. So how I'm going to do this, I'm not going to limit how many pre-orders I take, but I am going to limit how long the pre-orders are up. So they will go up in the shop on the 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I believe I'm going to leave them up for a week. So the pre-orders will close the following Thursday, April 13th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So the pre-orders will be open for an entire week. My goal is, of course, as all of my pre-orders, to get the finished objects out to you within 4 to 6 weeks time. Hopefully I'll be able to do that depending on how many orders I get, especially for the self-striping. That's what takes the longest, but that is my goal. So I hope you're excited about it. I had so much fun doing this, and I have to decide on the name for it, but it will be also labeled as the 6th anniversary colorway. So that will be in the shop. The other thing that will be in the shop will be more colors for the Colors of Classic Rock collection that I've been doing. There are, I believe there's some Purple Haze in the shop now and some Ruby Tuesday. I dyed up some more Dirty White Boy, which everybody liked, so there's going to be some more Bounce and Bedazzled of that in the shop. And then I've done 2 more colors, and these may be the last 2 colors for this collection. I haven't decided yet. There may be one more, but these are the 2 new ones. This one, also in Bounce and Bedazzled, is Tangled Up in Blue. So it's a tonal, variegated, and speckled blue colorway for that Bob Dylan song. And lastly, and I love this one, Pink Cadillac. Oh my gosh, I love this colorway. It turned out awesome. A lot of people have recorded Pink Cadillac. I'm inspired by the Bruce Springsteen version now. So some really wonderful pinks, very bright, very lively, with dark pink speckles and some black speckles in there. So not a lot of black speckles, but just enough to give it pop. So those will be in the shop. The other thing that's going to be in the shop that I can't actually show you is I'm going to put in some grab bags. I think I've done this in the past, and it's always kind of fun. The listings will describe what's in the grab bags as far as like yarn weight and things like that and yardage, but they will be just random yarns, and they will be at a discount over if you were buying them, you know, fully. I may do some grab bags for like half skeins. I haven't decided yet what they're all going to be, but you can look for those. Just something fun. But that is going to be the update for this week. Again, that is Friday, April 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and I'm going to be working the rest of today to take pictures and get things up in the shop that way for you in preview mode. So that's everything I've got for you. I don't know how long I've been talking. It may be going over an hour. I was trying to keep it under an hour, but I don't know. Since I had to do the shop news segment at the same time this time, it's probably a little long. But thank you for watching if you've stayed tuned this whole time. I will probably talk to you next week since this was a regular episode, and I don't have another shop update coming until the 21st. So, oh, I know what else I need to tell you. I am planning to put these sign-ups up for the Barber Pole Fiber Club on Monday, April 10th. That is my plan. I am going to be working the rest of this week to get all of the sign-up information up. That club, the first shipment will not go out until May, but no, yes, May, the end of May. The reason I need to do the sign up so far in advance, though, is because I need to be able to have time to purchase the fiber. So be looking for that. I'm really excited about doing a fiber club. I haven't done one in a while, so that'll be exciting. And the barber poling is just, I love that technique. I love coming up with, I love spinning barber poles, so I hope you do too. Barber pole yarn, not actual barber poles. So that will be Monday, April 10th, probably 9 a.m. I usually put those things up in the morning. So watch the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group for that information. That's going to happen. The way this is going to happen is I'm going to put up a sign-up questionnaire. That will make it easiest for you to make your choices for what you want. And then once you have submitted your questionnaire, I'm not putting a limit on how many people can get into the Fiber Club. So if you submit a listing or submit a questionnaire, you will be in the club. I will then email you, verify that you are in the club, and then I will put a reserve listing for you up in the shop for you to pay for your club spot. It's a little cumbersome, but it's actually the easiest way for me to do that, and it helps facilitate shipping and just make sure that everything is correct, because it's very, very hard to do it just from the shop, as I've found, especially when I want to give you a lot of different options, like in fibers and quantity and the other word, pricing. Like if you want to pay for the whole thing at once and get a little bit of a discount versus paying month to month. I will probably actually do a Fiber Club little mini video just to give you all of the details about that once I have everything ironed out. So you can be looking for that too. Okay, that is everything. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.